6 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If I can have roll, please, Brad.
Handback.
Here.
Jones. Here. Spar.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Kelso.
Here.
Butterfield.
Here.
Bartholomew.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Thank you. You want to give your...
Sure.
Okay, we'll give a little speech on the zoning board.
Thank you. Two public hearings are being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to address the zoning board will be sworn in by our court reporter and give their testimony under oath or affirmation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the zoning board of appeals will make its determination. 4 yes votes are required to obtain approval. The purpose of the public hearing is for the zoning board to hear and receive testimony regarding whether the proposed variance meets the required legal standards. Relevant factors for the zoning board to consider are set by state law and village code. Those relevant factors include whether hardship exists and not caused by the owner unique to the property at issue. Testimony offered should be limited to the relevant facts set forth in village code and state law. Rules of order govern the conduct of tonight's public hearing. No one should speak unless and until recognized by the chair, and any speaker should follow the directions of our chair.
All right, thank you. If everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes from the October 25th meeting, if there's no amendments, do I hear a motion for approval?
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Okay, our first case tonight is number 22-01. A variance has been requested for property located at 1710 North Main Street. The petitioner seeks a variance from ordinance number 83-16 relative to sign setback requirements. The required freestanding sign setback in B3 zoning district is 22.5 feet. The proposed sign setback is 12.5. This would result in a variance of 10 feet. And if you'd like to step in front of Lee, she'll swear you in, and you can step to the podium.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth,
And Annie, just state your name and address for Lee.
Okay. Andy Zeller, 1710 North Main.
So yeah, you can just give us just a short little story about how we got here.
Okay. So, just like I stated, Andy Zeller with A&J Electric. We're located out at 17 North Main. Reason for this variance is that we've decided to put up a sign just to kind of give us, just to show everybody where our location is, basically. At one time, we had talked about putting it on the building, but I didn't really want to put it up there just because I knew it would rust and it could cause damage to the building. So I kind of pushed my brothers to make sure that we would do something more in the ground. We had just done a remodel for a steel company over in Deer Creek, and they also have a painting company over in Mackinac. So we had them design our sign. I came up with just wanting to keep our logo, and we have signs that we usually put on job sites or like you've seen out at the MIBA fields and stuff like that. They're about 4 foot by 8 foot. So I wanted to kind of get it halfway decent so you could see it, and so I told them to make it a decent size and everything else like that. They started building it, and then I knew I had to get a sign permit, so I contacted Brad, and then he informed me that there were some rules that I did not know of, and that our sign was going to be a little bit too tall. So we just tried to figure out what we wanted to do, and we decided that we'd rather just see if we could try to do a way to scoot it forward, so that way it wasn't blocked by the tree that's right there and stuff, and that way people could see it coming down the road. I had a packet there with some slides on it that I handed out to everybody. The first one there is the sign. Pardon, it's upside down when I took the picture, so I flipped it so everybody could kind of make it out. That's what it looks like. It's got 3 posts that will be put in the ground and then put concrete around them, and it'll be approximately, the bottom of the sign will be about a foot off the ground. That's what we're trying to shoot for. The sign is 5 foot tall, so out of the ground it's going to be 6 foot, which is over the 4.5 foot legal stuff. That next page shows a little drawing of just Google Maps. I had just figured out with the rules and stuff about showing where our property line is, and we did verify that the 2 posts at the end of the lot do measure out to that 25 feet from the white line. And I did the 22 and a half, and you can see where I kind of have the sign and how that tree kind of blocks it from people coming from the north. Next page is just another Google Maps that I took on Adobe and just kind of drew the sign a little bit. Nothing fancy, but it kind of shows at the front of the sign with the rules. Shows the front of the sign at about the front of the tree. It's kind of hard to see from that view, but basically mainly the most of the sign will be behind the tree. And then the next photo, I have the sign actually scooted forward if we could move it up to the 10 foot, so it kind of shows that it's still off the road a ways, but it's just in front of that tree. And then one of the other things is we just wanted to kind of say is this sign is basically what we're using it for is location. We have people always ask where you located at, stuff like that. It's not that we want people to stop by our shop. We're not a showroom or nothing like that. We're just a contractor, but everybody's pretty much got a sign to show where they're at. And the one big problem we do have is deliveries. We've had semis blow on past and then try to have to turn around out there on North Main and Lakeland, which is kind of not real easy for them to do. So we'd really like just to have something out there, because right now we currently only have like some stickers that are on our man doors, which you can't see from the road. Where the sign's gonna be, where we'd like to put it, we did look, it won't block anybody leaving our driveway to have, to see that they couldn't see either way. It's just, with it is where it is, how the sign sits behind that tree, it just makes it kind of a pain coming from the north for people to see it. We are wanting to put landscape around it, dress it up a little bit. We're gonna have some lights on it. We're not sure if it's gonna be backlit yet or lights shining up on it. We're playing with that to see how we want it to look, but we will do that. So we want to kind of make it look halfway decent and easy to take care of around it for mowing and stuff, so you don't have to go around lights and all that stuff. On the last page, you can see that I just drew something up real quick. This is just real rough sketch, but in the future, there's a plan that we'd like to put an office building up. And not saying that's the size of it, that's how it's gonna look or anything else like that, but just kind of how I set it up. If the building was sitting somewhere right about there and we had a parking lot in the front, which is just that line that goes parallel with North Main, that's kind of got the jags. If we did that with the rules, I guess we have to be 50 feet off of the white line or 25 feet back from the property line. And so what that would also cause a problem with the sign is if we had to put it where it's at with the rules, about 2.5 feet of the sign will be in the grass and 3.5 feet would be in our parking lot. So if we can move it forward, then in the future, when we go forward down the road here a few years, that the parking lot would work out with where the sign's located too, so we wouldn't have to move it later. So that's pretty much what I had. Appreciate you guys listening to me and coming out tonight, and I'd appreciate if we could have this approved. Thanks.
I think it looked really nice. I don't know, does anybody on the board have any questions? Does anybody in the audience wish to comment on this case? No more questions. I say we ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant case number 22-01 under 10.2C as stated.
Second.
Butterfield,
Yes.
Hanback,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Spar,
Yes.
Bartholomew,
Yes.
Kelso,
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Approved.
Thanks.
You bet. I think now you can get your permit, start tomorrow. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, John. Okay, our next case is case number 22-02. A variance has been requested for a property located at 149 South Main Street. The petitioner seeks a variance from ordinance number 78-31 relative to building setback requirements. The required front building setback is in B2. Reduced front yard area is 18 feet 9 inches. The proposed building setback is 8 feet 9 inches. This results in a variance of 10 feet. Whoever wants to, Sam, you can step up and Lee will swear you in.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, so help you God.
My name is Sam Parrott. I live at 14861 Ullman Road in Tremont, Illinois. My request is for Seasons Gastropub. It's legally under Morton Downtown LLC. I've had this oven that you just got a picture of. Went out to Boston and brought it back home with the intent to put the thing in use. And obviously, with COVID, we weren't able to do that. We actually moved it inside off of Main Street in a building that was the old Witzig's building. And as time went on, I worked with the engineers from the company. This is a 800 to 900 degree oven, and it takes special exhaust pipe. And my fear, as I kept talking with them, was the fact that I didn't want to burn down the old Witzig building, and was pretty convinced that that would probably happen if I put it in that building with 90s and elbows getting through the roof. So as we kept talking and talking, Tom, my CFO, happens to be with me. He came up with a bright idea of putting it out by the garage doors. And again, not wanting it inside the actual building, we came up with the idea of going out towards Adams Street, basically with a glass enclosed building. In other words, commercial glass on both sides, a matching garage door that we use in the building, with a metal roof, consistent with the metal roof that's there. And then we're able to take that exhaust pipe straight up through a metal roof. And so that is the reason for the request. It also allows us to, in the summer, that hot oven, when we shut it down, say 9, 10 o'clock, we will keep the garage door that exists, and we'll be able to shut that garage door and keep all that heat from coming in our building. Which is a problem with these ovens, is the amount of air condition to cool the rest of the building is terrible. So I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Sam, how large is this? What's the footprint?
About 8 feet. It's big.
Wow.
So that'll come out 8 foot from your building. So you won't,
Well, I'm coming out more than that.
yeah,
One of the things I didn't really know is I applied, I believe, for a 16 by 16. Am I remembering right?
yeah.
Part of that, I didn't know if I had to include the roof line or not. And I think I since found out that I don't. Is that correct? That the overhang doesn't count?
Well, you
Yeah,
get 2 feet of
overhangs don't count,
overhang.
no.
What's that?
So the building wall would be the setback. There's 2 feet of overhang that's allowed.
Okay.
That's what you're asking on the
Right.
roof? Yes.
So I didn't really know that, so my dimension coming out 16 feet is probably really more than I need.
Okay.
I've got to get this 8-foot oven. I've got to have a place for this guy to work in there.
Yeah.
And it can be within, I believe, 4 inches of the wall. That's
Even a glass wall?
yes.
Okay.
That's the code that I've been told from their engineers.
So you're not out as far as the original building there, towards Main, the corner. This won't be out as far as those offices?
No.
Yeah.
And the old Heiser building
Right. Okay.
is clear out to the property line.
Right, okay.
No, I'm back
Yeah.
whatever that
Okay.
dimension is. But no, we would not be all the way out. And our hope is, one, to look kind of fancy.
Yeah.
But also, we want people to see them in there making the pizzas.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody in the audience?
Sam, where's your pipe coming out? It's not on the drawing that I've got originally. Do you have an idea where you're gonna have the pipe, the exhaust pipe coming out from that?
It would be approximately 6 feet from the outside wall, if that helps you.
On the Adams
'Cause
Street
we
side?
will take the oven to the back side of this addition.
Okay. To get it as far away from the main
Correct.
doors.
And I've been told by their engineers that because it is such extreme heat, that most chimneys you have to get up above the other roof. I don't have to. In fact, there's a fan unit that sits up there. So my hope is this thing's sticking 1.5 feet, 2 feet above the roof line.
Is there gonna be some type of fence on the outside of the building, or is it gonna be the glass?
Just the glass.
And garage door.
There is an existing fence that will tie into the corner of the building. Yes.
But you're sure it's safe, like, for the adjacent building? Like, there's, like, the heat will be,
Well, the adjacent building's almost 40 feet away.
going toward the corner?
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
only adjacent building other than myself is the accounting office. And there's 3-car parking space there
Yeah.
between it.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not gonna butt up against that?
No.
And that 3-car parking space will still be there
Yes.
once you put that in?
Yes.
No more questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant case number 22-02 under 1010-2C as stated.
I'll second.
Handback,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Butterfield,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Kelso,
Yes.
Bartholomew,
Yes.
Spar.
Yes.
Approved.
It's approved, so you
Branch?
can go move that tonight.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
gonna be a nice addition.
Well, you know, I do a lot of building in town.
Yeah.
And what I'm not known for is speedy. But I like to think it looks nice when I get done.
Sure it will.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Sam. The only thing I have to say is Grant Barton, he retired after 52 years, I think it was. Wasn't quite 52, but. Jack Bartholomew took his place, so welcome him to the zoo. So, other than that, Brad?
I have nothing tonight,
Mr.
Chairman.
Hilliard?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman.
With that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
All right, meeting adjourned.